38-yard line. Marcial Haywood runs for 6 yards on the play. Garrett Johnson makes the tackle at the 44-yard line. 3rd and 1. Marcial Haywood makes the tackle, a gain of 3 on the play. 3rd down and 7.
He beat me over the head with that score.
Marcio Haywood is stopped for no gain. Second and 11 from the 19-yard line.
He was doing pretty decent. Good things around driving.
Initial hit by Greg Anger, assisted by Alan Harding on the way. A loss of 1, third down and 12 from the 20-yard line.
Okay, get the helicopter out of here.
Marcio Haywood all the way down to
Oh my goodness, it's the Pope. They don't shoot.
timeout call by East St. Louis. Marcio Haywood, the ball carrier, gains about 3 yards on the play. First down Flyers. Goal from the 8-yard line. Haywood circles down near the 5-yard line.
Deep in the Get him off.
We're going to have a little bit of a delay here.
All right, while we get him off, we've got time to talk about the paradox here, the fact that Belleville West beat East Side. Belleville East beat Assumption, or not Assumption. I'm only in the past a little bit here. Altoff. Now Altoff beat Belleville West last week, and all the aces seem to be in East Side's hands right now. We'll talk about that and some more right after this.
We used to have our seats down like behind where they broadcast from, and during the breaks we always talk back and forth with Thomas.
See, I was 26 with a lot more experience than he had. When I found out how much experience he had, and of course the story that I've heard is
and after a 16-and-a-half-hour delay, the second quarter of the ball game between the East St. Louis Senior High Flyers and the Belleville East Lancers will resume with 2 minutes and 49 seconds remaining in the second quarter of play, and East St. Louis leading by a score of 12-0. Chuck Trent and Bruce Beach still here, ready to go. Bruce, I've seen game delays before, and the weather is a little nicer than it was last night, but that should be a very exciting second half, don't you think?
Absolutely, Chuck. Obviously, it's not going to be a picnic. The field is still in very bad shape from the storm we had some 16 hours ago. I think it's going to be a little bit of an advantage for Belleville East. I think East Side was just about ready to put the nail in the Lancers' coffin after that fumble, and now Belleville East had the evening to go home, think about it, regroup, and a 16-hour halftime, you don't usually have that kind of time to regroup.
I live not far from Belleville East, and last night as I was coming home, the player buses were arriving at the high school, and I pulled up alongside them at the stoplight, and I saw the faces of the young men sitting in the windows, and they were not happy campers. They had a lot to think about, and you could tell they were thinking about it. And I think Coach McGinnis has probably really pointed out to them that they have a rare opportunity here. What are they going to do with it? And I've got a feeling that both coaches have done a good job of probably preparing everybody. I can just imagine Bob Shannon saying this game isn't over and we haven't won. And it's a whole new ball game and they're still ready to go. So I could see that that's possibly the situation as Coach Shannon is now calling his players around him. The Coach McGinnis has his players huddled on the far side, and a lot of activity here. I'll tell you, a good crowd out here for as nasty as the weather is. I say that East has good representation based on the fact that their team's down by 2 touchdowns, and it's going to be first down and inches. Is that the way I'm reading it? No, they've reversed. Okay, all right, yeah, 1st and 10. Okay, 1st and 10 for the Flyers.
And just to reset for Chuck and I, we know you've only been away for 30 seconds to viewing public. Belleville East had just fumbled in almost typhoon-like conditions, and Eastside had recovered when the lightning bolt almost took out everybody here.
Yes, and that's when everybody got off the field. So now we're set for action with Stacy Stevenson over center. And there's the snap. And good defense there, very quickly in there by number 79. That's Phil James.
And that was that wing-back counter that Eastside runs so successfully, Chuck, and that time East able to sniff it out.
And a loss of about 2 yards on the play. It's going to be 2nd and 12 from the 20-yard line. There's the handoff. Haywood's going around the right side. He's going to get himself quite a bit of yardage there, but short of first down.
And a nice play by Garrett Johnson to corral Marcio when he did. And Chuck, we can see the East St. Louis cheerleaders, they just are going to start the day off with the ponchos.
It's not raining, but they're taking no chances right now. Don't blame them a bit. I came so prepared also. So it's going to be 3rd down and 8, looks like. From about the 18 back to pass. And short, as it was intended for Walker. Carnicholas Walker couldn't pull it in.
Defended nicely by Chris Stevens.
He was right there with him. I thought he had an angle on it for an interception there for a second. However, it did not happen, and it's going to bring up 3rd down, 8 yards to go from the 18, or 4th down. Yeah, they haven't flipped it over yet, have they? There it is, 4th.
And again, East St. St. Louis a team that doesn't kick a whole heck of a lot of field goals, so they'll be going for it here. 4th and 8.
4th and 8. And they're down inside the 20, so that's as good a percentage play as anything. Fake to Haywood, he's going to pass, and it is knocked down. Beautiful play there. The defender is Deshi Keaton.
And an excellent play by Deshi right there. He could have very easily picked that off, but he says, why pick it off? I'm going to get 9 more yards. My team's going to get the ball anyway. Smart play by the young man.
Deshi Keaton plays very well inside his own 10-yard line on defense.
So the Lancers did exactly what they needed to do. If Eastside scores right there, we could pack it in. But the defense was able to hold, and now a chance to get on the board with 1:30 to go before the half.
And probably the best field position they've had for a first down all night. All day, definitely all day. So it's going to be 1st and 10 from the 18. And Quinones is over center. His troops are set. Harden's going left, and he doesn't get far, but he's going to get some.
Mitri Jenkins and Corey Adams on the stop for the Flyers.
He got a good 5 yards there, up to the 20-yard line, beyond the 20-yard line a little bit. So it'll be 2nd and 5, call it.
And clock is running with 1:09 to play in the half. And of course, we won't have a break, Chuck, for halftime. We'll just kick off. There won't be a big marching band extravaganza because of the delay and things like that.
Well, the fact that the marching band's not here, too, has a lot to do with that. And we're down to 54 seconds. There's a handoff, and nowhere this time for Lewis Harden.
Tony Bean on the stop.
And they just didn't fool anybody, and the defense was right there.
Going to have to hurry. 38 seconds to play here in half number 1.
Well, the Lancers will get the ball to start the second half, as they kicked off to the Flyers to start the game. Here they come. The man split wide to the right. There's this. Harden gets some running room. He's going to get a first down and out of bounds over here.
Dragged out of bounds by Martinus Tillman. Clock's going to stop because of the first down, and he went out of bounds with 11 seconds. You think they're going to air it out here, Chuck?
I don't see that they have any choice unless they could get an awfully good block and give it to Deshi Keaton to go the distance. But since he doesn't usually run in this situation, and he's not out there as far as I can see, I don't think that's going to happen. And that's the end of the first half. The score is the East St. Louis Senior High Flyers 12, the Belleville East Lancers nothing. We're getting ready for second half action as we are now having the captains meet again, and the Lancers will be receiving, and the second half will get underway in what has got to be about the shortest halftime we've had ever, even on a taped game. I've had
Marcio Haywood, number 34 for the Flyers, over 100 yards rushing in the first half.
And deep for the Lancers is Mike Dory and Deshi Keaton.
And Woody Gray's got that kicking shoe on.
I wonder if he got it dried out. It had stayed under the bench last night in the rain, and somebody came along and picked it up and poured about a quart of water out of it. Bob Ogney says he probably microwaved it. But then Bob Ogney's always thinking about things that go in the mouth and in the kitchen, you know. Yes, we broadcasters know about putting foot in the mouth. And the second half is underway. Keaton's going to take it on one hop, and he returns it upfield. He gets a break. He's still on his feet at the 40, almost to midfield, and a good return. Boy, a break there would have sure set the stage for the second half differently.
Well, they did get an excellent break. Michael Stewart, a touchdown-saving tackle for the Flyers. And the East Side, basically, I mean, Belleville East has definitely improved their field position here. and they need to drive it down and pop it in right here and get this game back turning their way.
In the first quarter last night, it was Haywood scoring from 5 yards out at 4:03 to make it 6-0. The point after was no good, and at 3:24 the second quarter, he went 35 yards for a touchdown, and that's how it's 12-0. And now Paul Quinones is going to see if he can do something about the other side of that score. The pass, no. He won't do it on this one, will he?
Dimitri Jenkins, the first player there for the Flyers.
As he went to pass, had nobody to throw it to, tried to scramble and had no place to scramble, and suddenly found himself on the turf with a loss of 1 yard. And I think he's lucky to get off with just losing 1 yard. Be 2nd and 11 from the 46-yard line. 11:07 remaining on the clock. As the Lancers are breaking the huddle and ready to go. 12-0 in favor of the Flyers, who need to win this key Southwestern Conference game. There's Harden, and he gets to the midfield mark and loses the ball.
No, they're going to rule him down. They're going to rule him down.
He was down there, and the coaching staff of Eastside is not thrilled with that. But that's the way it's going to be. So the Lancers pick up a gain of 4, make it 3rd down, and I would say 7. Since it was 2nd and 11, 4, that'd be about right. And that's the way it's going to be here with 10 minutes and 36 seconds remaining in the third quarter. And that could be a big play if the Lancers can pick up a first down here. Wide to the left is Brian Phillips. Out to the right is Slavin. Going to pass. And it's incomplete. Slavin was the intended receiver out there beyond the 40-yard line. He had lots of coverage, though. If he'd caught it, he wouldn't have gone anywhere. Of course, since he was diving for it, it's hard to run from a prone position.
But I think he had first down yardage on it.
Yes, he would have. He could have just pulled it in, but now it's 4th down and 7.
And now he's got to come back and punt after just sprawling on the ground. And 2 bad snaps on the punts are what set up Eastside touchdowns last night. A lot better conditions today to get this kick away.
It's not raining now.
Well, let's see what happens, as there's this good kick, and it's going to be no return either, I don't believe, as Kevin Beard was the closest Flyer to it. And they're going to put the ball at the 28-yard line. Okay, the East St. Louis Senior High Flyers have the opportunity to see what they can do here. It's a 24-yard line, just short of the 25. First down, 10 yards to go.
Have to fire that spotter.
That's okay, if that's the only mistake he makes all night.
42-7-19.
And there, the defenders are ready for that one, weren't they? As there's no doubt Mr. Haywood got derailed.
Garrett Johnson made the hit, but in there initially was Fred Saxton to make the momentum stop, and Garrett Johnson just came in and finished him off.
So it's going to be 2nd down, 10 yards to go from the 24-yard line. East St. Louis has a 12-point lead and the football in the third quarter of play. Stevenson over center, movement, but no penalty. And once again, the Lancer defense does the job.
Garrett Johnson in there again and again. Helping out was Greg Lippert for Belleville East, and number 88, Alan
Hartig. Hartig was right in there too. This Lancer defense has been their bread and butter all season long, and when they're right, they're right. And I've not seen very many high school defenses that can compare with them when they're doing things well.
Right now, the Lancers are doing a lot of blitzing with their linebackers, daring Eastside to pass. Keep your eye on number 89, Garrett Johnson, as he's going to sneak up into that gap.
Okay, Woody Gray is wide to the right here.
There goes Johnson.
Almost. And Haywood spins, stays on his feet, but short of first down yardage. He doesn't even get to the 30, about the 28.
Nisha Keaton there on the stop. And the Flyers that time ran away from the blitzing Garrett Johnson.
Chris Stevens also had him. Well, I'd run away from Johnson, too. And I'm taller than he is. No, not much. We're the same height. He weighs more than I do.
Well,
He could probably still outrun me, though.
I outweigh him, but he's got his distributed a little nicer than I do.
You said that, I didn't. Here's the punt.
Get it to his tight and get it out. Not a bad job.
Who's going to pick it up here? Keaton's calling for a fair catch, but he's not going to catch it. It's going to roll dead at the 30-yard line. And that's where East will take over. Okay. Okay, 35-yard lines where they'll take over. With 8 minutes and 25 seconds remaining in the second quarter, it's still 12-0. Still plenty of time for the Lancers to get something going, but they don't need to waste very much more time.
No, one of these times, and pretty darn quick here, Chuck, Belleville East is going to need to put the ball in the end zone. Their defense has been doing an excellent job.
But you want to give them some rest, too.
Right. And both of these side touchdowns were set up by bad punts.
Daryl Slavin wide to the left, and Quinones wants to throw. He completes it, but right short yardage. Is it no good? Brian Phillips couldn't hang on to it. This is going to be 2nd and 10. Quinones has not completed a pass tonight, or this afternoon either. He's 0 for 6 according to Bob Ogney's chart. Looks like a passing strategy again. Slavin wide to the left. Quinones looks him over.
8:05 to go, third quarter. Ball snap.
He's looking right. He got hit from behind. The ball was still alive. A good play there.
Robert Campbell able to fall on the football.
Yes, Robert Campbell jumped right on it. Otherwise, it would have been a beautiful field position situation again for the Flyers.
They're trying the old hitch and go right there. And that play takes a little time to develop, where you pump fake and then the receiver takes off. And by the time the pump fake was completed, there was the east side defensive line.
Left side of the offensive line hadn't done the job to get that play done properly, so it's going to be 3rd down and 14 from about the 31-yard line. And passing is about all they can do at this point.
30-yard line. There's the ball snap.
He's got no time. He's sacked. No, he's still on his feet. Oh, my God. Big loss. Way back to about... Okay, the forward motion was stopped back up at about the 15-yard line.
Apparently they had blown the whistle at that point. But what they're trying to do there, it looked like they were trying to set up a screen, and that's where you let your man come through, and then you go downfield to block. When your man is Mitri Jenkins, and as quick as he is, you got to get that pass off real quick, and there's no time. Mitri Jenkins just let no time for that play to develop.
So it's going to be 4th down, and what are we looking at here? 24?
4th down to Millstadt.
To Millstadt.
Good kick.
Up to the 40, and they stop him at the 40. And the defender there was Matt Escant.
Marcio Haywood on the return.
That is a good move there. Good defense situation, because they got virtually no return on that kick. So 1st and down from the Lancer 40. 1st and 10 from the Lancer 40. And here come the Flyers with a 12-point lead. 6:16 remaining. Straight ahead, and Haywood's going to get what, about 4?
Greg Lippert in on the hit, along with Brian Phillips.
And Craig Ettinger helped out. Or was that 89? That may have been Garrett Johnson.
Very well could have been Garrett Johnson.
Yeah, I believe it was. Although, wait, no, Ettinger is out there, so. So 2nd down and 6. Haywood. Short of 1st down, looks like.
Garrett Johnson there again, but the primary tackler on that play was number 80, Greg Lippert.
So it's going to be 3rd and 1 at the 31-yard line. You don't want to let the Flyers inside the 40. They smell that end zone and seem to be drawn to it for some reason.
Into the right side. Lancers 5-man in front. Severson, Colin Simmons takes the ball.
There's Haywood, and he's got the 1st down across the 25.
Chris Stevens and Brian Capella on the stop for the Lancers, but East Side able to pick up the first down and keep the clock moving, and they're about, looks like about 22 yards from pay dirt here.
That's about right. 5:03 remaining in the third quarter of play.
When the game was over last night, they called the Vikings. 5th first down.
There have been 5 first downs now for the Flyers. More importantly, there's been 2 touchdowns for the Flyers, and they're looking at number 3. Haywood gets short yardage.
Somebody got an ankle just in front.
Alan Harteg on the tackle, reaching in there, grabbing Marcio's ankle and dragging him down for a short gain.
Good observation there. He slowed him up long enough for the reinforcements to get there. It's going to bring up about 2nd and 8 from the 19. And the Flyers are driving.
Backfield, strong left lean to the right side. Ends in tight.
Howard is going nowhere this time. As was that Brian Capel, first man hit
The first man there was Fred Sexton. Brian Capel was in on the stop, but Fred's the one that made the initial pop.
Okay.
Number 70.
Yes, he was. As the clock is down to under 4 minutes now in the third quarter, still 12-0. Southwestern Conference action from Township Stadium. Glad you're with us. I'm predicting a pass here as we've got Gray wide to the right. And Haywood. There, Capel gets him. And he also gets a football shoe from one of his teammates right in the ribs. Craig Ettinger trying not to step on him. Tried to step over him, didn't get all of his feet all the way over him. But that's just part of playing football. If you don't like football shoes in your ribs, you shouldn't be out there.
Big 4th down right here. Need a stop for the Lancers.
4th and 4. It would be an opportune time for the Lancers to stop them.
What's that cheer? Defense.
Yes, I think that's something like the East cheerleaders might be doing.
Oh, Garrett Johnson on the blitz jumped off sides.
He's been coming very close all day. And 4th, and it's going to be a first down by penalty, and those count.
And as Bob Ogney so aptly pointed out, he lost his footing on this poor turf, and that's what brought him into the neutral zone.
I thought he came awfully close in the first drive. This is the 6th first down. And it's 1st and 10 from the 9-yard line. 1st and goal from the 9.
Yes, it is. That's the 9.
And now the defense has really got their work cut out for them. The Lancers want to hold them off. If they can do it, it'll be a big difference in this ball game. Haywood, he's taking 3 guys with him. Almost took him into the end zone. Capel was the first man to hang on, and
Doug
Schutzenhofer, yes, was the man that was dragged along there. I thought he was going to be dragged all the way into the end zone.
A running back as good as Marcio Haywood, you got to stick him high and stick him hard. Stick him low and stick him hard. You're not going to be able to hit him up high. He's going to carry you like a sack of potatoes.
Sort of what it looked like. So that puts the ball down at the 1. So 2nd and 2. Okay, it's at the 2. And
there was movement on both sides of the ball. Eric Howard took off early.
And quickly pointing that out, trying to help the officials, was Chris Stevens. Let's see if they appreciate his direction. And the Flyers are walking this way, so maybe that's what they're going to do. Offsides against the Lancers is all it's going to be called. Well, you just go with what the guys in a striped shirt see. They can only call what they see.
Well, Eric Howard took off in a full sprint toward the line of scrimmage, and they missed that.
Well, that happens. Half the distance to the goal line. Now it's 1 yard to go.
You got your 2nd and 1 now.
Yeah. I must be a prophet, huh?
Well, is it going to be Super Mario 3 right here?
That's what I would do, but then I'm not the coach. And that's what they're doing, and it's touchdown. 1:48 of the third quarter. It is Haywood going in from 2 yards out, 1 yard out. And that makes it 18-0 in favor of the East St. Louis Senior High Flyers. And the next touchdown really needed to be on on the Lancer side of the board to make it a more interesting game. But once again, the other night we saw St. Louis U High trailing 20-0 going into the fourth quarter, and just very nearly won right here. There's a handoff to Haywood. A 2-point conversion attempt is no good. And again, the point after attempt fails.
Doug Schutzenhofer along with, when we see the plan get up, I can tell you number 21, that's Deshi Keaton.
Deshi Keaton.
Keeping Marcio Haywood out of the end zone.
And that's not easily done. There's a timeout on the field with 1:48 remaining in the third quarter of play. The score here, East St. Louis Senior High Flyers 18, the Belleville East Lancers nothing.
All right, he's got this one. He's got his shoe on. He's got the ball where he wants it. He's got that 8-yard step. Now he's going to do a little side saddle. Now he's ready.
Think he'll kick away from Keaton?
Yes.
Grounder, but Keaton's going to let it go into the end zone, I believe.
He's not going to make it all the way to the end zone.
He's going to pick it up at about the 1 and take it back upfield. Boy, he plows into that line, but
got out to about the 18, I think.
18, pretty close. I'd say closer to the 17, but it won't make any difference. It's not the dramatic run back that the Lancers would have liked to have seen. So in tough field position, the Lancers take over again, trailing by 3 touchdowns with the clock rolling at the 1:38 mark. The offense has got their work cut out for them if they want to stay undefeated. Taking a long time in the huddle. Maybe because it's a little warmer in there. I don't know.
I can't imagine any place being warm right now.
Darryl Slavin, wide left. Handoff. And pretty good yardage.
Louis Harden.
Yes, Lewis Harden, the 5'9", 164-pound running back. Went right and took a few Flyers with him.
Looks like he only picked up about a yard, though.
Boy has a hard-earned yard, maybe 2. Long 1, short 2. Call it second down and 9. That's a long yard. So second and 9 with the ball at the 19. And there's a handoff to Harden on the right side. Looks like a little better game this time. Not a whole lot.
And there for the Flyers, was that Eric Howard? Yes, it was.
So give him about 3. It's going to be to the 22. Looks to me like 3rd and 4. The assistant coach down here for the Flyers flashing signals. Looks like he's on first base. Marion Stallings is a defensive coach that evidently was flashing the right kind of signals because the Lancers didn't get far on that one either. It's going to bring up 4th and 3. And that's going to end the third quarter of play here at Township Stadium.
Haywood and Beard deep to return for the Flyers. High snap.
Oh, high snap. Oh, no. The third time he picks it up. He's in the end. He's going to get hit for a safety. Safety, 2 points.
Give Woody Gray credit in his defensive shoes.
Yes, and the snapping game, I think you mentioned this last night, the long snapping game is what has really hurt the Flyers, or the Lancers in this game. And that's set up the 2 touchdowns last night and gave them 2 points right now, and they get to kick off to the Flyers. That's the only good thing. So that's going to make it with 11:56 in the fourth quarter. The safety. Who was the Flyer on that?
Woody Gray.
Woody Gray. So that makes it 20-0 in favor of East St. Louis Senior High. And the Lancers will kick off proper now. He's going to place kick it. He's going to
punt it.
Drop kick. Whatever you want to call it. This used to be a much larger part of the game of football than it is now. They're running. All right, and Haywood fields it and is right there down. No return. That part of the kicking game works very well. There's been very little returns. Of course, the bad footing plays a lot in that.
Absolutely. Marcio Hayward very fortunate right there. He's able to corral that ball, because if he touches it and is not able to bring it in, he's down on his knees. Here come a pack of Lancers.
And all of his players are headed the other direction. That would have been something that the Lancers would have appreciated, a break going their way. Of course, you usually make your own breaks.
Turned out to be a 50-yard punt.
Yes, it did.
No return.
And no return is the best kind, so it's going to be 1st and 10 from the 30. The Flyers, not nearly the type of field position they are used to, and there it goes to Gray. Is that Beard?
No, Woody Gray.
Gray, okay.
On the wingback counter.
He gets almost the first down. He may have first down yardage. As Brian Capel was one of the people who finally pulled him down there with Keaton. And they're going to bring it up to, it'll be 2nd down. Nope, they say 1st down. I thought he had it. So they're going to bring the ball up to the 43-yard line. 1st and 10. And that's the 7th first down of the day for the Flyers. 20-0, and they have the ball, and right now driving. There's Haywood, and he's going to get over midfield, being wrestled down and being hit from, he's pushed. That is, let's see, who got Carnicholas Walker came piling in from the back there to give him additional momentum and got him first down yardage there.
Well, the reason it was so hard to bring down is Belleville East was mainly right there. You could see a good shot. Chris Stevens was just tugging at the football. They're trying to get that football loose.
Instead of stopping him. Well, that's, once again, that's sort of the same philosophy as going for it on 4th down, because the score indicates that you have to do things a little differently. Another 1st and 10 from the 46. Haywood again, and they get him down, but not before he gets to the 40-yard line. They may spot it short.
Doug Schutzenhofer
is to the 41. 30 carries and 154 yards so far for Haywood.
He may get off the interstate today. Get that 200 mark.
Well, he's got time.
But he's got 30 carries.
There's 10 minutes, over 10 minutes left. Now they're cleaning off the ball again.
We have to check with Bob Ogden and see how many total offensive plays East St. Louis has run. That offense has been today's been Haywood right, Haywood left, Haywood up the middle.
And it seems to work. So Haywood up the middle. And good blocking, but he only makes it to the 40-yard line as Phil James wrestled him down that time. But give him a gain of, what, about 1.5? It's at the 39-yard line. He's at the 41. Call it 2. It'll be 3rd and 4.
Bob Ogden just informed me East St. Louis has run 43 offensive plays. 31 of them have been Marcio Haywood carries.
Other than that, he's not a very big part of their offense. And there he is again. Oh, barely hanging on to it and getting just over the line of scrimmage. I have a feeling it's things like that that Coach Shannon doesn't like to see. It shows a lackadaisical approach. And you don't want to get lackadaisical even with a 3-touchdown lead.
So they're going to have to punt right here, and a block would be sweet if you're a Lancer fan.
It would be very sweet.
As my good friend Beavis would say, that'd be cool.
Let's see what happens. Keaton hasn't broke one this game yet. He would really like to do it. Stevens is short. And it is blocked. It is blocked.
Capel.
And it's going to roll down here to the 30. And so that's not a bad break. Of course, Keaton doesn't get to make a big return, but that's okay.
Well, he got a piece. He didn't get a good block.
No, not a total block.
All he did was basically deter the flight of the football. And then they got a good roll. Unfortunately, if you're an East fan, got a good roll, good Flyer roll.
Flyers got a good roll on that. You're absolutely right. You never count an East St. Louis senior high team out of a game. You never count them out of a season.
And this is the first time all year they put together back-to-back good football games.
Well, that's true. And that's how the season goes. There's a timeout on the field being taken right now for equipment repair. Shouldn't take very long at all. as we have 8 minutes and 13 seconds remaining in the ball game. 20-0 is the score. The East Lancers trail the East St. Louis Senior High Flyers.
Seems like just yesterday we started.
Yeah, it does.
Quinones, the quarterback.
There's Quinones is hit behind the line of scrimmage, still on his feet, and now he's smothered to the turf.
David Searcy.
And a flag, a late hit maybe?
Dimitri Jenkins not happy.
Looks to me like a late hit and a painful one.
Is hurt.
He is not exactly enjoying his present physical state. I must agree with you. As we do have the coach coming out to check him out. We have a timeout on the field with 7:58 remaining in the ball game. The score here, East Side 20, Belleville East nothing.
What happened after he was down, he said he was fired. He, went on top of him.
Chuck, we're going to have a personal foul against East St. Louis. Apparently, once Paul Quinones was already down somebody from East St. Louis, got a little extracurricular with him, and it's going to be a first down, a 1st and 4.
1st and 4, okay. Those are offensive statistics that quarterbacks like to see.
That's got pass written all over it. Play, action, pass.
And who do we have? Is Quinones staying in? Yes, he is. Okay, good. So that's a first down by penalty, and it counts. That's the 4th one for the Lancers. No, it's not a first down. Take it back. 2nd down and 4, and there is a pass. Yes, and Johnson can't hang on to it, and it squirts out of his hands. Loose ball picked up by the Flyers, and Haywood is going to have a lot of fun running, but he's not going to get anything else for it.
He just wanted some more camera time is all. That's all he's doing.
And he got that.
He's already got 3 touchdowns today.
And is it going to be Flyers ball, or is it going to be a Lancers ball?
You're going to rule an incomplete pass. Gonna bring
incomplete pass, okay.
Well, it jumped from 1st to 3rd down on me here. I don't know what. I must have missed 2nd down in there somewhere.
Well, that was 2nd. It was 2nd and...
well, actually, it was 1st down. We had the penalty. And so when you have a penalty, you don't...
That's right.
You keep it down.
Well, it may be an error. I've heard of officials making mistakes like that.
Unless it was a dead ball foul, as Norm Greenberg is pointing out.
Which I think it was. And now there's a pass, and he's open, and catches it.
Brian Phillips, I believe.
1st down.
It is.
Yes, it was Brian Phillips, and he had company right there, but was still able to haul it in, and the Lancers get that 1st down we were talking about. Now, that's the 4th first down.
I believe that's the first completion of the day.
The first completion. And for the first time, the only statistic I'm keeping track of with any regularity, I disagree with Bob Ogney's book. I thought the Lancers had 2 last night, and they've gotten 2 today. There's a pitch out, left side, Harden. He's got some room, but didn't get anything but the 1st down.
Nicholas Walker stuck him.
Yes, I felt it all the way up here.
But a nice block by Brian Capel, the fullback, just spraying Louis Harden. It's going to be a 1st down.
Now we've got 4 first downs. There's a 3rd one today, though. Yes, it is. So it must be 5. No, it was before that we disagreed, Bob. But that's okay. That's what makes it fun. 7:06 remaining in the ball game, and the Lancers putting together their first drive here. 2 first downs in a row. They need it if they're going to get back in the ball game. And he better get rid of the ball. He's being chased, and it's intercepted.
Woody Gray
at the 30.
It's got to be the shoes.
And jumping in there on top of him was Brandon Kronk. 66, or was that 68?
That was 66, Brandon Kronk. I'm hoping ESPN will see this and I can do highlights for them.
All right, it's 6 minutes, 45 seconds remaining, and that will send the unfaithful home, I'll tell you that. So, 1st and 10 for the Flyers.
I don't think the unfaithful would have bothered to come out today,
You're right. Nobody is moving on the Lancer side. You're absolutely right.
Here today.
You're right.
tragic story. They've also lost the Los Angeles.
And on the left-hand side here is Carnicholas Walker, wide left. And there's the handoff up the middle.
Woody Gray, the ball carrier, brought down by Brian Capel on that wingback counter, also there for the Lancers.
Gets to the 40.
Alan Hartag and a flag on the field.
And it looks like it is going to be against the Flyers. Nope, the other team's moving the back way.
Personal foul on the Lancers.
On the Lancers, okay, guys. That's not good for the Flyers, or for the Lancers. Good for the Flyers.
I saw the young man the official pointed to. I'm not going to mention his name, but the coach will find out who it was, and of course,
he will talk
to him
about it, I'm sure. He will mention that. And that's a big one. He's going to bring it 15 yards.
First down.
Yes, definitely. First down by penalty. And that counts. It's going to be 1st and 10 from the 44.
And it's very important to note where the ball is placed when you have a running back like Marcio Haywood, so you can talk about those runs that he breaks.
Oh, yes, those yards do add up in a career. And there he is again, and he's going to get none this time.
Phil James.
Phil James said, why don't you come on down here to the dirt with me? And he tackled him high and brought him down. Mr. James evidently is a pretty good wrestler. That's exactly right. He did some bulldogging there, and so they lost a yard on that. It's going to be 2nd and 11 from the 45.
Well, let's take a look at Phil James here, 6 feet. 5'11", 238.
That's impressive. I wonder if he is a wrestler. He ought to be. 2nd and 11 from the 45. And it is Gray.
Beard,
number 12, okay. And he got good yardage.
Matt Icecant in on the tackle. Second time we've called his name.
So it's going to be 3rd and 7, I'd call it, from about the 42. And the Flyers are wasting no time. The Lancers ready on defense.
There's movement on the left side of the East St. Louis line.
Let's see, there are 2 flags, though. It could be offsetting illegal procedure against the Flyers. You're absolutely right.
That's what happened.
I was watching Garrett Johnson get up there like he has so often, and I thought maybe he had split a plane there. Didn't look like it to me, but
Garrett Johnson's not feeling the best right now. He's kind of hobbling around. That'd be a big loss if he's seriously hurt, but he's getting the defensive signal. He's going to stay in there. But he is kind of hobbling.
Yeah, the field is not in good shape. It really isn't. But then considering all the rain and everything, it's a wonder it's in as good a shape as it is. 3rd and 12. Back to pass. He dumps it off on the screen. And he's going to get good yardage, but he's going to be short of the first down.
And he's run out of bounds over there by Brian Capel.
Chris Stevens was shepherding him in there, too.
It's going to bring a 4th and about 3.
4th and 3, and they'll go for it.
And 4:19 to play in the ball game.
Somebody's big red and white umbrella went the wrong direction over in the stands. There, he got it fixed. I have an umbrella a lot like that. I hope it doesn't happen to that.
So 4th and 4, they're going to call it.
Beard is out. Stevenson obviously in there.
Oh, the quarterback in that play was Eddie Adams. We kind of let that one slip by.
Sure
Stevenson
did.
back in there. You know, he's got a pretty darn clean jersey for having quarterback this whole game.
Yes, he does.
Back to into the right side.
Haywood.
There's Haywood. He got it. I believe he got it.
See where they mark it. Where the official closest to me is marking it, he's going to be short.
Well, let's see. Yeah, where he's standing, it's going to be
Lancer ball.
Lancer ball. First down on downs. I thought he had it.
Well, our spotter got back in good graces with us.
So there's 4 minutes, 13 seconds remaining, and I would say the Lancers are looking for some respectability with a touchdown. Because it would take 2 miracles, an act of Congress, and some good luck for them to win this game.
And a Disney movie ending.
At least.
But I've seen stranger things, like I played high school sports, so.
Yes, that's why we like high school sports, because those things happen.
Yep.
Yes. Wide to the right here is Phillips.
Harden.
And Harden carries very well across the 40 and gets up to almost the 45. They're going to spot it at about the, way back. At the,
Corey Adams going to get credit for the tackle, though he was nowhere near Harden when he was down. He flew out of his tackle, pick up a couple extra yards.
They're going to put it at the 41-yard line. So it'll be 2nd and 4 at the 41 with 3:35 remaining. And Lancers need to get on the field, on the board. I mean, obviously they haven't been shut out this year. Donnie Foster's in there. There's a handoff. Harden gets the first down, and he stays on his feet to the 50-yard line.
And he was stuck by
several people.
Well, number 25, who is not in our program.
Of course.
He came up and stuck him, and he bounced right off that stick and kept moving.
And also helping out there is Martinez Tillman. And of course, Belleville West got back on the winning trail last night at Collinsville.
Hey, not too often we can update you on scores.
That's right.
Altoffa winner last night. O'Fallon buried Marion 40-0.
And Mount Vernon beat East St. Louis Lincoln. There's a pass way beyond where the intended receiver, Mr. Darrell Slavin, was. Yes, that's really an unusual situation. One of the advantages here. No, the Southwestern Conference is still up for grabs right now. This is a game that East St. Louis Flyers had to win. And once again, barring some very unusual events, they're going to do that. But just like I said earlier in the first half, it just shows why high school football is so interesting, because East beat Althoff beat West beat East Side, and there's Harden having trouble holding on to the ball, but he runs anyway and going to get the first down. I think he has the first down.
Finally dragged down by Darrell Dixon. It's going to be 3rd down, just short. You're talking about all these strange occurrences.
Yes.
So-and-so beating so-and-so. That's what my good friend Elmer Handler always says. You never know.
You never know.
You never know.
But comparing scores is a lot of fun.
And if this game ends up the way it is right now, who would have thunk it? Belleville West controls their own destiny.
That's what the situation will be. All they have to do is beat East.
Plain and simple. All they do is
East-West game is always a big game. It's could be for a piece of the city championship. It'll also, there's a quarterback keep. He didn't quite get it. And he's still on his feet.
He's going to go all the way.
He's going to go to the 15-yard line anyway before he gets hit from behind.
By James Buford.
Buford did some running, yes. I think some of the JV boys were in there.
No, here's an interesting situation. James Buford did not dress yesterday. He was in the doghouse. We had the delay. James able to come out and complete this ball game. So he actually was on the sideline in street clothes yesterday, being disciplined. He's normally the starting fullback.
Very interesting. You're right. Now look at if we can get a shot of those East cheerleaders, that would be neat, because with their team down by 3 touchdowns, but still driving for respectability, they are rallying the crowd of faithful out here, and that's good. So we're looking here at 1st and 10, and Quinones wants to pass, and he is hit, loses the ball, incomplete pass.
And it's a shame, because he had
some men
Darrell
open.
Slavin wide open in the end zone.
So 2nd and 10 from the, where are we, 15?
Here it's 20-0 Flyers, 2nd and 10.
As the Flyers are trying to preserve the shutout, and the Lancers are trying to get on the board. 2nd and 10 from the 15. Wide to the right is Phillips. And there's a handoff. Having fumbling, he picks it up and keeps going, and he fumbles it again. This time, the Flyers pick it up.
Number 25, he's not in our program. We'll find out his name.
He jumped all over it, though, and looks good for the shutout to be preserved. As Bruce is going to find out who the number 25 is. He's had a good 4th quarter here with 1:35 remaining. That's amazing, the fact that the ball was fumbled, picked up, and then fumbled again. And that just turns things around completely. as the scoring drive is killed inside the 10-yard line. It's going to be 1st and 10 from their own 9-yard line for the East St. Louis Senior High Flyers. And there's a timeout taken with 1 minute 22 seconds remaining in the ball game. The score here, East St. Louis Senior High 20, Belleville East
That's
nothing.
fine, but young man made an excellent play, one he's always going to remember. And if I can, I'm going to take a second here to thank Jack Weatherwax and Mike House over at the Boy Scouts for covering for me today. I was supposed to work, and they went in. They're going to run my shift, and I was able to complete the ball game.
I was going to ask you how you did that, but I thought it might get you in trouble, so I thought...
I'm there right now.
You are? Okay. Just a figment of my imagination sitting here.
And all it cost me was a large pepperoni pizza.
Oh, well, those are easy to come by.
And I'm going to bill it to Norm Greenberg, so it'll be all right.
Good luck. Let me know how you come out on that. I might try it. There's whistles and flags.
Well, Eddie Adams in a quarterback now for the Flyers. So Stacey Stevenson done for today.
Well, he's done a good job.
And he kept his jersey relatively clean, which his mother's going to be happy about.
Which means that his offensive line did a good job.
Absolutely.
Minute 20 to go.
He's standing alongside watching things and enjoying the afterglow or the inglow or whatever kind of glow we have here on this cloudy afternoon.
He's chatting with Marcio Haywood, who would make me look like a good quarterback.
Well, let's not stretch. What position did you play in high school?
Oh, I didn't play football. I was a soccer goalie.
Oh, well, good. There's a handoff.
Kevin Beard.
Beard is not going to go very far. I think the Lancers are frustrated.
Garrett Johnson was right there. He almost had that ball lodge.
He was looking for it very, very seriously.
And if he would have done that, he would have backed right into the end zone, as they are down inside the 5 now.
I think he was thinking about picking up the ball carrier and carrying him into the end zone. 47 seconds, not long for this one. As all the Flyers have to do is run it up the middle. It would be a nice token here if the Lancers could get a safety or something. And there's a quarterback keeper, yes, and he got out of the end zone back out to about the 3-yard line.
Dishy Keaton on the stop.
No, he didn't.
Oh, the clock is still running then?
But he's just called the timeout.
16 seconds remaining. So the Lancers called timeout to delay the inevitable for another 16 seconds. The Lancers should be looking forward at this point to next week when they journey to Collinsville. And they're going to have to be careful not to be looking forward next week when they're in Collinsville to the Belleville West game here on the 22nd.
Of course, Belleville West plays CBC here at Township Stadium next week.
Collinsville has never beaten Belleville East since 1972, according to Bob Ogney, and he knows about those things. That was the first time they ever played, right? Okay.
And Chuck, that Belleville West CBC game will be the Continental TV3 Game of the Week next week.
With CBC, Christian Brothers College, one of the oldest high schools west of the Mississippi River. But then you didn't know that.
I did not know that.
You probably don't even care about it, do you?
No, that information is good. I can use that in my color next week.
Okay, very good. Okay, 16 seconds remaining. Adams over center, looking everything over. And let's see what kind of play they've developed here. It's a handoff, and it looked to me like Beard. And it's under 10 seconds now. I don't think we're going to have any more plays. I believe this was 6 seconds. Timeout's taken. And that's just what you do, because it's never over till it's over, and you want to get that touchdown if you can get your hands on the ball. And
here come the first teamers back in.
Well, they started it. They should finish it, I guess.
I guess. Except it doesn't look like Stacey Stevenson has reappeared. They're going to leave Eddie Adams in there.
I tell you, this is probably the best start. Bob Ogney, how long has it been since Belleville East has had a start this good? Going 5-0.
80, 81, those two.
Okay, in the early 80s. And then losing to East St. Louis, well, that happens.
Beat East St. Louis was 81.
They beat East St. Louis in 81. Okay, there's the punt going to be out of the end zone. Any return? It's picked up. Deshi Keaton skids left, skids right, and falls down.
Slide tackle.
And that's going to end the football game. The final score here at Township Stadium is the East St. Louis Senior High Flyers 20 and the Belleville East Lancers nothing.
Well, the ball is kicked out of there by Adams. They go ahead and do it. And return for Belleville East by Keaton.
Okay, fine.
43-yard line.
Okay.
Away.
Very good. Tell me when.
St. Louis.
You can do that.
4-2. Playoff hunt for sure.
I'll introduce you to do that stuff.
Play all Friday night.
Okay.
For them, no question about that. Lancers will try to bounce back against Belleville next week and will be heavily favored to make the record 6-1. The Flyers.
The traditional handshakes of the combatants after the fact is taking place, and I can remember when schools didn't do that. That's something that has been added in recent years, recent to me anyway, and I'm very, very happy to see that it is carried on. And after a hard football game, it's good to remember that, hey, it's just a game. And that's what it's all about. But the way this game went, obviously better for the East St. Louis Senior High Flyers than for the Belleville East Lancers. And that scoring for that 20-0 score. Bruce, tell us how the Flyers got their touchdowns.
Well, the scoring got underway actually last night, Chuck, in the first quarter at 4:03 showing on the clock. A 5-yard touchdown run by Super Marcio 1. In the second quarter, we had Super Marcio 2 as he scored another touchdown, a 35-yard run scamper. There's 3:24 showing on the clock. Both extra points were missed, which made our score 12-0 as we had the rain delay. Shortly thereafter, we came back today, and there was no scoring as the half ran out. In the third quarter, with 1:48 showing on the clock, it was Super Marcio 3 as he went in from 1 yard out. Again, the PAT failed, and that made our score 18-0, and it stayed that way till 11:56 to go in the fourth quarter. Just inside the fourth quarter, a errant snap on a punt sailed into the end zone, and punter Darryl Slavin was tackled by Woody Gray for the safety. That made our score 20-0. And we played 11:56 after that with no additional scoring, and that's the way it ended up, with the East St. Louis Flyers defeating the Belleville East Lancers 20-0.
And of course, the Lancers fall to 5-1 on the season, while the Flyers raise their record to 4-2. I was just looking here in the program what Coach McGinnis of the Lancers said. He said that they would have to play great team defense to contain the Flyers. I think that they played great team defense. He said pursuit and gang tackling are the keys. They did that, and they had to be alert for the reverse and play action pass. I thought they were good on all those. Just Mr. Haywood is the thing you can't be totally ready for all the time. But
absolutely, they defense the wingback counter, or the reverse, as Coach McGinnis called it, very well. East St. Louis only put together really one long drive. That was the one in the third quarter where Haywood went in. Other than that, it was 3 bad snaps on punts that set up the scoring.
And that's what Coach McGinnis said. He said that the special teams would play a vital role in the final result, and that was the case. Well, the final score once again is 20-0 in favor of the East St. Louis Senior High Flyers over the Belleville East Lancers.
Okay, we appreciate it.
This is
Betcha. Bye-bye.
Okay, this is Chuck Trent along with Bruce Beach saying thank you very much for joining us this evening and encouraging you to be with us this Friday, this next week with the game between the Belleville